Okay.
All right, everybody. This is Daniel, and this is Real Singers on Singing episode number. I should have looked. I think it's episode number 20. I'm not because I just did one today. I did one with an opera singer. It is episode number 20. Dude, you're lucky number 20.
All right.
And this is not Opera Singers Do It Better. This is it's Claude Woods Jr., correct?
Claude J Woods Jr. Yep, that's what they call me.
You know, J Wood.
Yes, Claude J Woods Jr.
J
Yes.
Woods Jr. All right.
Uh-huh.
And Claude is, he played with a really close friend of mine, my best friend Henry, recently over the weekend. And they put up a video. He didn't put it up, but the club had put it up on YouTube, Mozambique. And I went and watched it. And I'd seen you sing with him before. But I was like, after watching the whole show, I'm like, I got to get this guy on there. You sing everything, and you sing everything, your lows, your highs, everything's fantastic. Like you really do. And you're performing, how comfortable you are with the crowd. But
Yes.
you sing for McKay's All Stars, the Earth, Wind, and Fire experience, correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir. Yes,
How long
sir.
you been doing that?
Oh man. About it'll be about 20 years, man. It'll probably be 20 years in August. Yeah, we've been playing for a long time.
Wow, that's great. That's
Hmm.
great. Then I've seen you. Yeah, then I've actually didn't know you then, but then I've seen you with them because I've seen that show. So
Yes, you have.
ah,
If you've seen it, usually I got a hat on.
okay.
So if you see me with you see me with two other fantastic singers. So
Yes. Yep.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes, sir.
And are you still with? Now I saw. I read up on you a little bit today. But are you still with the Busboys at all? Do you guys still do any?
Oh, Brian O'Neill is one of my best friends, man. And I still play with him. And he actually just released a new record. The latest single is a song called Civil Rights that he just released that I did some background work on. And he's getting ready to release another tune called oh my God, why can't I think? He's gonna kill me. Um Money Don't Make No Man. And then I did a tune with him called um it is called oh, It'll Come to Me in a Minute. But Brian O'Neill I've probably been playing with Brian O'Neill about as long as I've been playing with Al, on and off. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. And you do
And
solo work as well. You put
I
out a
do.
song a bunch of years ago. What was it called? Miss Pennywell.
I put out that was probably one of the latest videos that I put out. Yeah, Miss Pennywell. I got challenged by a friend in England to do uh, 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 what they call a Northern Soul tune.
Yeah, it was
And
cool.
I wrote and produced that tune, played all the instruments, and I did that whole production. A friend of mine named Conley co-produced with me, helped me out with that, and actually my ex-wife produced the video for it. We did a video for it as
Yeah, it
well.
was very cool with the old TV, black and white, kind of
Yes,
back and
sir.
white from the color. That was very cool, man. I checked that out today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that.
I like that. And then Shell was in the video. I saw Sheldon in the video.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, he called him down to come down and volunteer. About 12 hour shoot.
that's that's awesome. And so the guy, how long you been? How long you known Shell?
Man, I've been knowing Shell probably man, I would say about 17 years, I would guess. I met him shortly after I got with Al and them. I met him through another gentleman by the name of Wallace Grissett. And we would play over at the Lighthouse over in Redondo Beach,
Or down the beach. Yeah, yeah.
which was it was a fun gig. And I've been off on and off with him. And we started getting really busy with Al and what have you. And things started picking up. And so what happens is you get out there, you're on the road all the time, and you're not getting calls from people when you're at home.
Right.
And so, you kind of fall off. But me and Shell, we never really fell off. And his wonderful wife, Desi,
Yeah.
who supports his music, his musicianship wholeheartedly, 100%.
Yeah.
I have to give it to her because not many women support. That's not to diss too many diss females, but not too many women support their man the way
But
she
she really
does in
supports him
his
great.
endeavors. And she called me up and said, "Let's put together something just so we can work here and do some things here."
I
And
love it.
we put together this amazing crew, man, of guys. And normally we have Henri was sitting in. I keep calling him Henri. Henry was sitting in.
to.
He's Henri to me, man. He's gonna be Henri. He's gonna be Henri to me from now on. Mr. Henri Solis.
And
But we have
name of the band is the Dudes of San Diego. That's the name of the.
yes, the Dudes of San Diego. That's correct. Either the Dudes or the Dudes of San Diego, and it's because most of the guys when we started were all from San Diego, except for me.
Yeah, and it's you, it's Sheldon, and then who's usually on bass?
Usually we have Kevin Cooper,
Okay.
Grammy Award winning bass player. We have Abe Majors on drums. And we have another young gentleman by the name of Ryman Intezari that plays with us, and he's from Fallbrook, from the Fallbrook area. Okay. But you know, we have Cornell sit in from time to time. We got a guy named Max Zappi that sits in from time to time. You know what happens when things start to pick up? You know, musicians, they find their gigs and that kind of thing like that. And so, you know, people find places to play. So there's a plethora of musicians.
Oh yeah. I'm sure you have what's his name on bass? Well, I used to love playing with him. He's hilarious. Mike what's his name? Are you gonna kill me because I forgot his name? Mike plays bass. He'll
Michael Kennedy. Mike Kennedy.
Yes.
Yeah. I played with Mike before too. Mike. Matter of fact, Mike has played with us with the Busboys.
Oh, awesome. So, he's another one blast to play with. Always making fun.
Oh, great entertainer, man. Just a great entertainer. Not only a great musician, but a great entertainer as well. Yeah. So, you know.
Oh, that's great. And now, but you were not. So let's get into it, man. You were born and raised where?
Southeast Louisiana, man. I was born in a little town called Thibodaux, Louisiana. And you might be familiar with it. They've shot a few movies there. They're probably one of the notable movies. It was a long time ago, if you remember. What was the name of that doggone movie with it was a movie about voodoo. And the guy sold his soul to the devil. Like, what's that?
Yeah. With the real handsome 9.5 Weeks guy.
Yes, him. I feel bad. I don't remember his name, but I do remember that what's the name from the Cosby Show was in that movie too. Angel Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might know that town from there, and they've shot a couple other movies there. But I was born in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and grew up in a little area called Gray, Louisiana, which is right between Thibodaux and Homer. Right on the border of Lafourche Parish and Terrebonne Parish.
Okay. And so you grew up singing?
I did. You know, I grew up, my dad loved music, and my dad always had an instrument. He always had instruments in the house, guitar, and he always had a guitar, always had a harmonica, and he just loved fooling around with that. And he always had his music, man. He was always playing music. So if anywhere I went with my dad, there was always music playing. And him and my aunt, they would throw a lot of music at me. And then there was times they would throw stuff at me where they would say it was my favorite tune. I didn't know it was my favorite tune or not, but they would say it was my favorite tune. And so, you know, so I would start hearing, little Michael Jackson and, and I would hear songs like Show and Tell. And he used to say Show and Tell was one of my favorite tunes too, which it actually turned out to be. The Isleys, they love the Isleys.
Oh, great.
And especially Earth, Wind and Fire, which, I would have never thought I would have ended up playing with Al McKay.
Yeah, that's great.
Playing Earth, Wind and Fire music all over the world for years. So yeah, grew up in Gray, Louisiana, born in Thibodaux.
And you said you played I didn't know this. You played all the instruments on that tune that you were
That's
saying.
correct. Mm-hmm.
And so you play. How'd that all happen? How'd you get into just playing everything?
Well, you know what happens is that you come out. I came out here in California from time ago, and it's expensive to hire musicians to come and do things.
Right.
And I was never a guy to not want to have people come and play. I never had any money for to pay people to play stuff.
Right.
But I was always interested in studio. I was always interested in guitar. Because I was a Prince fan back in the day.
Nice.
And so, I could always pick out a note here and there on the keyboards and that kind of thing. And it actually, it actually turned into it actually turned into just me getting in the studio, um, and deciding to just to make it happen. And it takes a little time for me to get it down more. I'm not a virtuoso musician,
Right.
but I've learned from so many people, man. Al McKay and watching Brian play and watching Sheldon play and all these guys that I play with. I kind of know, where I kind of want to hear things, and so I get it down. I get it down. I try to make it happen, and it just comes out.
That's amazing to be able. I mean, I've been playing music my whole life too, but I would never attempt to play every every instrument. That's cool, man. That's really cool. I mean, and you went to you went to school for music, right?
Yes, I went to Southern University. I didn't stay at school. What happened was I went to Southern. Um, I actually moved. I had an opportunity to go to Boston with a friend of mine, and with that opportunity, I knew about Berklee School of Music.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out there and attempted to go to Berklee School of Music, but it was so expensive. Like I said, I was always a poor kid. I was a poor kid from the South, man.
Yeah.
And so I went out there and I looked at the school, and wasn't thinking about showing them talents or anything. I didn't really have any idea or knowledge of what was going on. I just went out there to look. I didn't talk to anybody or whatever. And I stayed out there, tried to get into school, realized this is too expensive. So I stayed out there. I worked for about 6 months. And my buddy that I went out there with, he ended up coming back down to Southern University. So I just followed him. I came back home,
Okay.
um, went to Southern University, walked around, looked around campus, and ended up in the band room, and said, "Okay, I'm gonna try to go to school here." And went to the vocal music room, and my vocal music instructor, Cheryl Clancy, tried me out for the choir and for the music school in the band room of Southern University.
Wow.
And we were in there I was in there singing, and he's an idol. He died. Rest in peace. Dr. Isaac Griggs is probably one of the greatest greatest marching band leaders back in the from back in the day ever. And he heard me in there singing, and you could hear his characteristic voice back there. God damn it, who's that boy? Who is that? Cheryl, you bring him in here. I gotta see who that is. You come over here. I need to hear. Boy, you sing your ass off. And so we're sitting in his office, and he's like, I'm gonna put you in my band. And I'd never marched in a marching band in my life.
Did you know you had this talent? Did you know you were a good singer?
I did. I knew I could sing pretty good. I mean, through high school, I mean, I tried to be an athlete. I tried all these things. I just wasn't a great athlete, wasn't a great basketball player. I wasn't fast. I always looked strong, but I wasn't fast. I didn't have any skills for the football field, none of that. But what I did have was the ability to get up and stand up in front of people and entertain people. And I had been doing that since I was small. And I didn't mind getting up, showing off in front of people, telling stories and that kind of thing. And I would sing every once in a while. And so I went and joined the choir in junior high school and realized that's what I was good at. And went through high school, having award-winning ensembles and things like that. And then I turned 17 and said to myself, now this is where I start paying my dues. And after that, I had committed myself to just trying to be a better and better singer. And because, most people think that being a singer is just easy. If you can open your mouth, you can just sing. And some people can't open their mouth and they can't even talk, but I like to think of it now as a superpower because I can't explain the connection that my voice has with the audience or with people. I can't explain it all. I'm only humbled by the fact that people actually, Billie Eilish says all the time, you can hear her say, I don't know why you like me. Well, I understand that sentiment because I don't understand why people like what I do. I just do what I do.
When you were in junior high and high school, and you realize, oh, I do have a voice. I'm gonna get in some of these ensembles, and I'm gonna do some high school stuff. And you knew you wanted to kind of take it serious. Did you were you someone to did you take the records in the room with you and go, I'm gonna learn this song, say, and start going through them, like, or you were just guy like listening once, you could just sing it?
It was always separate. My ears were always at that point in time were always separate from the actual practice of singing,
Okay.
because even though I was listening to all these tunes, Lakeside and all these, and
Yeah.
really feeling these tunes. I could remember being a kid and just really feeling. I may not even know what they were talking about, or it could even understand the concept of some of the things that they were talking about. But the feeling is what came across to me, and so I could remember feeling that. But that wasn't the music I was performing in high school and junior high school. High school and junior high school, we were performing, arias and operatic,
Oh yeah, yeah.
stuff like that. All just choral music, that
Core
kind of thing. Yeah, and
and
so yeah, it was separate. It was kind of separate. I was listening to one thing and then performing another.
when you were learning the stuff in high school, did you have a teacher to walk you through, a coach, show you the breathing? Are there any techniques that stuck with you through the years? Like, oh yeah, I always make sure I do this, or I always make sure I do that, or I warm up my head voice, I warm up my falsetto, or I warm up my chest voice, or I do. Is there things that you do that you learned from when you were young that you kept?
I always had um, great vocal instructors. My very first was Susan Brock, in high school. Well, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. My very first was, and why can't I remember her name? Oh my God, junior high school. Well, she made an impact, but Susan Brock made the biggest impact. The reason being is because she showed me all of these things, but that wasn't important because she felt I had this natural talent to
Right.
sing. So she actually started showing me other things. She started teaching me little guitar. She started teaching me linear knowledge on the keyboard. Because I guess she just thought I was a natural at doing what I was doing, and pretty much, it was me and my boy that ended up taking over the choir by the time I got to my senior year. And it was us that, it was our motivation basically that made this choir pretty great. And
Right.
so um, it wasn't until I got to college with Cheryl Clancy that I started hearing about techniques about how to save my voice, keep my voice, textures and things, that sort of thing. And it was also kind of limited because I really didn't spend much time in her class. I come in one week and she'd give me this tune, we learn it, and the next week I'm out and getting ready to go do a recital, and the kids couldn't stand because I would
I
go
would
out and
I would have been a lot aggravated with myself.
yeah, I would go out and she'd teach me a German aria, and I'd go and do it. Die Nachtigall, sie wollen für der Frühling nach sie wieder, diese hast du nie gelernt. I would, the music was the language that was inside of me. It's not, so it was, I always just felt it inside of me. It was just nothing really,
So they didn't
nothing
really mess
particular about
mess with your voice too much. They didn't really tell you. They didn't really say, "Oh, we need to work on your head voice. Oh, we need to work on your mixed voice. Oh, we need to work." Nothing like that. You were just
it.
like, "Oh,
No,
this guy just opens his mouth. He sings right. Let's just let him do it."
no, all this stuff had started coming to me just through practice and what have you, and listening to different people. And then, after that, after college, I didn't finish college. I came straight here to California, and then I'm running around watching all these people. I end up sitting next to Ali Woodson, you
Oh
know,
God, he was so good.
and ended up
Great video with him.
singing with him. I joined Al McKay with
Uh,
Ali Woodson.
so
I,
good.
I was singing with him, you know, and so I was just one of those people like, I know how great you are, but I'm still up here doing. I still have to perform next to you
Yeah.
as well. And by the time I got to a point to where I was performing with Ali, I kind of felt seasoned anyway.
Yeah.
And I think where and Ali was such a funny, cordial,
Oh,
you know, he was so funny, man. I didn't have time to even think about the fact that I'm singing up, you know,
we-
I'm here in Japan singing with Ali Woodson, the man that, you know, sang with the Temptations and sang Treat Her Like a Lady, you know?
man. Yeah. But she's yeah, there's a guitar player that he passed away. He lived up here near me that you might know. Sheldon knew him real well. Jimmy Macon, Gap Band,
Mhm.
and
Yes, sir.
he introduced me to a lot of Ali stuff. Like I never heard him. You know, I heard "Treat Like a Lady," but I never heard some of his other stuff. And he had some videos, and I was just like,
Oh my God. Ali was he was a legend, man, and very underrated.
mm. Yeah, I couldn't believe I didn't know more about him when Jimmy was showing him.
Mhm.
I was like, why didn't anyone, show me this guy? You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
he was great.
There was a reason why he ended up being a temptation, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so the techniques, those kind of things, just kind of came to you from learning the singers, like listening to the singers and those kind of things. No breathing. Never talked about breathing techniques or anything like that. All singers talk about those things.
You know, we always talked about, I mean, whenever I talked about this stuff, it was always in the sense of an ensemble and singing with an ensemble. Um, because when you're singing with an ensemble, there's the teamwork that has to happen
Right.
where these voices have to blend and it has to sound like an organ, like a sound machine when it's coming out. So you have to emulate the texture of the person that's standing next to you. You have to figure out when and where not to breathe. And we're not all breathing in the same place. So sometimes there's some stagger breathing going on. And sometimes you see where there's a mark where it's telling you there's a breath. You can take a breath there. But it's all about trying to make these 20, 20, 30, 100 people all sound like one entity. And so most of my training came from trying to do that.
Right.
And that's what helped me as a solo vocalist to be able to pull off a lot of things that I do. Because, like I said, you have to match voices sometimes. Well, most times, if it's going to sound any good, you have to match your vocal textures.
Were you in the baritone or a tenor in the
Both.
ensembles? And both. I could tell in your voice you're probably both.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though sometimes I would even try to sing bass, but no, I was a high combiate tenor, regular tenor. There was points where I could sing alto, but I would get all the way down to second baritone.
Wow.
So I would always stay up in that range. And then a lot of times, like if you hear Miss Pennywell, I'm doing all the backgrounds on that. So so I'm all of that helps in being able to develop that as well. So it all helps my solo, me being a solo vocalist.
Yeah. Do you growing up? This I always ask this question during the interviews with different singers that are really good. I always say, was there someone you were growing up, in your years, and you listening to a singer that you'd kind of go, I'm going to learn the song, I'm going to check the song. That was kind of became your nemesis. You couldn't quite get their tonality or their vibe. Was there someone that was like, I'm not getting this dude. I don't understand why. Was there anyone like that to you?
No, no, because I never really studied anybody to be able to do that. I always had at the back of my mind,
Right.
that our voices are all like fingerprints.
Right.
So even when you hear some of the greatest people who mimic, even people who you hear doing like Jamie Foxx and
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Eddie Murphy, all of them trying, that not trying, but they're actually, if you put these two people that together,
Yeah.
like when you hear Eddie Murphy trying to do Stevie Wonder,
Oh
if
yeah.
he's by himself, you know he's doing Stevie Wonder, but if Stevie Wonder comes in the room, there's gonna be a difference between
Oh
their
yeah,
voices.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
always thought about it like that,
Yeah.
and because I always knew I wasn't gonna exactly sound like who I was gonna sound like.
Well, with Earth, Wind, and Fire, you got to do a few different voices. Yeah, you got to do a couple different ones.
I do. I have to, but it's funny. It's funny about Earth, Wind, and Fire because a lot of people think that Philip did all the high voices in Earth, Wind, and Fire, when
Right.
in actuality, Maurice did a lot of it too.
He did a lot of it, but he didn't do the reasons. That's Philip, but he just
Maurice sung, Maurice, no, Philip sung Reasons.
right, those kind of
But
songs,
but when you hear the backgrounds and sometimes you hear some of the stuff and they will
oh,
double voices and that kind of thing. Maurice was up there just as high as Philip was.
wow.
So, so they kind of had to figure out things as well to trying to match voices and what have you.
Yeah.
But when you always want to try to get the better qualities of the people that you hear, but I always know that in the end, it's just going to end up being amalgamated into what my voice texture is going to come out to be.
Yeah. Is there an area of your voice that you like to like you feel like your money area? Like I like this area right here where you feel is your little sweet spot, in other words?
But a sweet spot is always that spot just below just below sing when you get in your false voice, the falsetto.
Uh-huh.
Um I I always particularly like singing in my normal tone.
Right.
Um Although falsetto has gotten easy over the years, um I still particularly like singing in my normal tone, which is basically a baritone one tone, somewhere at between baritone and a second tenor.
Yeah, I mean, you see, I mean, it's great watching you on that video. I'm gonna link that video in my video so more people can see it. It's great. It was great, fun, just great tunes, great guys, great musicians, and all just coming together for one because it's all fill-ins, and it
Yes,
shows you
sir.
how good some people can be. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir, man. It's a team effort, man.
Learn the material,
Definitely team effort.
right? It's like,
Hmm. Well,
yeah,
no, these guys knew the songs, and
oh yeah,
and the truth is, I'm all about learning the songs and what have you, and I'm all about trying to be as authentic as we can.
yep,
But by that same token, we're all sitting. You got all these musicians up here who can play, man, and so I always like to test it and just try to take it somewhere else. And because what happens is somebody might end up playing a great riff while we're up there, and it's like, okay, there we are.
yep,
We're not going in there. We're gonna stay here for a little while.
yeah,
And I like kind of, for lack of a better explanation, I like James Brown in it, man. I like you know, oh, check this out. Let me see if y'all paying attention kind
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah, Henry's saying he loved that. I was talking to him on the phone, and he goes, "Man," he was talking about your voice, and then he was like, "But I love the way he just handled the band. Like he was just telling us where to go, telling us he knew exactly where he wanted to go, and we were all following him." You
And
know,
that's a beautiful thing because not all musicians want to do that.
yeah,
I don't do it for ego. I
yeah,
do it because I
feel it,
feel like,
proud, yeah,
and that's what happens. People feel sometimes you get musicians who feel like you're doing it for ego, and I'm not doing it for ego. I
no,
do it mostly because I feel like I am that conduit between the band and the crowd.
yeah,
And so, in order to be that conduit, in order to try to keep that communication going, you know, I see I see the crowd saying, "Okay, all right, we're getting a little bored,"
right, right,
you know, and
yeah,
I might even see the band like, "Okay, we're getting a little bored,"
right,
you know. But I always like to feel like I'm right there, that kind of between trying to make that connection between us all in order to create that splash of fun, man.
yeah. It was great, man. Very, very cool. So how can people? Is there a way that people listeners can find some of your material online, like under what names and songs
Um,
or anything like that?
you can look under either Claude J Woods Jr. or you can look under Claude Woods Jr. or Claude Woods. Man, I have stuff all over the place, all over the internet. You found Pennywell, just pretty much the same way you
Yeah.
found my stuff. That's the same way. Just Googling my name. I actually have a new product. I got a new thing coming out. Sometime in the next month. I'm working with a guy in England where I'm trying my hand at some EDM stuff. I
Cool.
wrote a tune called Life some time ago, and it took a while to get this thing released. So we needed to update it. So we kind of did a little, today kind of it's the DJ thing. They like to add the DJs things and doing the remixes. And so
Yep.
um in England, we're releasing this tune called Life that's coming out very soon. We got a little video for it and all that kind of thing. That's
Cool.
coming out real soon. So just you Google my name. I got stuff all over the place,
Are you
man.
going out? Is Al McKay's band? Are you guys going to go out soon? You guys got some stuff ready to go now that the COVID's opening up? Are you figuring?
We're actually gonna be out. I got a rehearsal with them. Funny that you asked. We got a rehearsal tomorrow and Wednesday because we have to go to do something called White Nights in St. Petersburg, Russia. We're gonna go play for the after party for that gig. And it's funny because they finally got us out there. What
Wow.
happened was about 6 years ago, we went out and did this thing called White Nights. And it's basically, it shows all over Russia.
Okay.
And it's in St. Petersburg. And what they have is they have like a panel that's like American Idol, and they have all of these stars from everywhere that come out and do the show. And I guess it's like some kind of contest as well. And we were on tour a few years ago, and they called the three singers and Al to go do this thing. And we were the only ones that didn't have any backing tracks. And it was Nelly there, the Jacksons were there, Lou Bega was there. There was a whole bunch of people there. Susan, what's the lady's name? That the Scottish woman that did with the beautiful voice. She's the old Scottish lady, and I can't even think of her name, man. That's a shame. I'm getting old.
We're all getting old.
But anyway, they were all these celebrities there doing the gig, and we go to do it, and we didn't have any tracks, and we told them we don't need any tracks, man. We can do this the way you just do it. We do it the old school way. Just give Al a guitar, amp him up, and give us 3 mics.
Yeah.
And we went and did the gig. We go out there. We did the sound check. Nelly was out there for the sound check. Remember him coming out, and we had this little thing going on between him and Nelly. His management was trying to change all the stuff going on. I remember him saying, no, y'all ain't gonna make me get in trouble with my daddy for moving Al McKay from Earth, Wind and Fire. So anyway, do the gig, we go out, and we got Paul Abdul and Engelbert Humperdinck and was Anastasia and all these people there in the panel, and we do these songs a cappella, man. And you would think that just Al playing guitar, and us singing a cappella, and we killed it. And so it gave them an idea that we need to see this band. So they're finally bringing us out to do this, and we're going to play for their after party.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Couple of weeks, few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. And then anything else after that? Any states, United
we don't, the Al McKay, we don't play with that band in the States very much. We're going to be, we actually have 3 weeks in Europe coming up in August.
Oh, cool.
But most of the appearances I'm doing out here are now going to be with the dudes of San Diego.
Right.
So
Okay.
we have the dudes of San Diego, and we have another little quartet ensemble called Fantastic Four.
Okay.
And we've been doing that all over Southern California. So look for that. Look for the dudes of San Diego.
Do you have any weeklies with that? Usually it's a book of weeklies somehow. Anything weeklies or casino, mostly the casino type gigs?
Yeah, we're gonna be down in San Diego. We're doing the duet thing, me and Shell, dynamic duo thing, Friday, and at over at Sequan's. They have a golf course over there. What's the name of that damn place? I'm telling you, man, we getting old. I need to get some ginkgo biloba. We're gonna be playing at the golf course over there, and then we play Hamul Casino Saturday night.
What's that? I don't even know that casino. What's it called?
Hamul. It's down in Southern. It's way down
in
San Diego County, way down way down there. And then we're doing Sequan Casino, and we're playing the Fantastic Four thing for 4th of July.
Nice.
We're gonna be back at Mozambique August the 21st.
And that's in Laguna, right?
That's in Laguna. They're trying to set up, stay tuned on that. They're trying to set up us doing the Sky Lounge there as well.
Cool.
And we're playing we're playing at, what's the name? Let me look up. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna tell you right
Go
now.
ahead, because I'm gonna come out to one of them in August for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, the closest one is Laguna Beach. We're gonna be playing at the Mozambique again, and we're gonna be playing at San Manuel soon. We're doing something in Palm Desert, out at one of the casinos out there. All you need to do is to come and see the band. Is just look up on Instagram and on Facebook, the Dudes of San Diego.
cool.
And there's an event calendar there. Des has it all lined up with everything that we'll be doing.
That's great. Awesome,
Mhm.
man. It was a pleasure to meet you, man. I'm really I appreciate you doing this. You know, we don't know each other, but I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with me.
And you were at the show.
I
Did
wasn't
we?
at the
Did
show.
we not?
I
Oh,
got to
okay.
see it. Mozambique put it up like the next day on YouTube,
Right. Right.
and Henry
Well,
had told me, and he didn't know, but I don't know what I was doing. I was YouTube or something, and it popped up. Probably like
okay.
YouTube shell stuff, you know, like just because I'm always, you know, I know those guys, and I'm always like they're probably in my saved things, and it just went point.
Well, what's funny is you've always been a Facebook friend. I remember you as a Facebook friend all the time, but we had never spoke there.
Yeah.
So, but it's good to meet you, man. Good to
Yeah.
finally meet you. And it is my pleasure. I'm honored, thrilled to be doing this. And I'm so glad that you're doing such a forum, man. It's a wonderful thing that you're
I'm
doing.
trying to do something, you know what I mean? I get a little bored, so I'm trying to
Yeah,
do something.
I ain't mad at you, buddy. I ain't mad at you. So
Awesome.
it's an honor being here and talking to you on it, man. And we got to meet soon. So
Yeah, no, definitely in August. If you guys do Mozambique, I'll probably come out for that. I can make it out for that because going to San Diego, that's a far one. But
yeah, it's a bit of a ride.
I live in San Luis Obispo, so
Oh, you live way up there. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All
So
right, cool.
I used to live in Orange County, and that's how I knew Shell and all those guys because we would all play together. We'd be playing somewhere at like the back alley, and Shell would be over at the other place. See, here we go. I don't remember the name either.
Right.
The bar over there on the main drag or Roscoe's or something, and we'd
Uh-huh.
come over there on break. You know, go over there and watch those guys. They'd come over on their break. So it was all
Right.
years and years and years.
Well, all that's coming back.
Yeah, that's great.
It's
That's
all
great.
coming back pretty soon. I actually know I have another young lady out there that sings up there. Her name is Lisa Lisa Hendricks, that sings with a band up there.
Up here. And that
Mhm.
name sounds familiar, at least because it's such a small area. So then that name does ring a bell.
Yeah, she's this beautiful, bodacious blonde that can sing.
Okay.
And she plays in a band. I can't even remember the name. We haven't talked as much lately, but that's probably who I know up there. I have a couple of friends and an old high school friend that lives up in that area that works up at the naval base, I believe, up there, one of the bases up there. So yeah, man.
You should come up and play this little place called Puffers. It's in Pismo Beach. It's a little wine bar, and the guy that owns it, Charlie, great guy. And
Okay.
he loves they'll do duos, he'll do bands. But if you guys came up as the duo, if you and Shell came up and did the duo thing, they would love it because it's
Well, get us the information, man. We'd love to come up, man. Come up and grab a hotel and just come up and do it. That would be
there's
nice.
There's a place called the Siren up here. You guys could play the full band stage. Like that's actually a really nice room.
Okay.
Great to see a band like you guys there. It's a mile from my house.
Oh, cool. Well, hey, I know you definitely come and see it then.
All right, man. This has been Real Singers on Singing with Claude
J Woods Jr. Yes.
Right. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Hang on a minute before you go. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right.